In a thrilling and daring showdown of humans versus animals, the stage was set for a series of extraordinary challenges that would test the limits of strength, speed, and instinct. The first question asked was simple yet powerful. Who's faster, stronger, or more dominant? Man or beast? Could a human outmatch the raw might of nature? The spectacle began with a test of brute power, pitting the world's strongest man against a 500-pound lion in an intense game of tug-of-war. As the countdown began, 3, 2, 1, go. The rope tightened, and the lion's massive paws dug into the ground. The sheer force in its jaw was terrifying, holding back even the strongest man alive. Despite the lion's cunning strategy of pacing itself and wearing out its opponent, the man refused to give up. Slowly but surely, he gained ground until, with one final pull, victory was his. The crowd erupted. Man had defeated lion. But that was just the beginning. The next challenge tested agility and vertical power. The world's highest jumper, a Guinness World Record holder, versus a tiger named Luna. The tiger was magnificent, a symbol of grace and power. "Do you actually think you can outjump that?" someone asked. Darius, the jumper, laughed nervously but stayed confident. The trainers raised a piece of meat high above Luna to see how high she could leap. In one breathtaking motion, she soared into the air, muscles rippling as she almost defied gravity. Then it was Darius's turn. To make things more interesting, Jimmy raised the bar 1 inch above Darius's official world record, 12 feet, 3 inches. "If you touch this, not only will you beat the tiger, but you'll set a new world record," Jimmy declared. The tension was thick as Darius took his mark. With a powerful jump, he soared higher than anyone in history, clearing the mark with ease. He crushed it, Jimmy yelled. Luna simply blinked, unbothered, majestic as ever. Humanity led once again, 2-0. But the next round wouldn't be so easy. This time, the challenge moved to a bull arena, where Bubba, a professional bull rider, faced a terrifying task. 3 bulls were released into the ring as he attempted to carry as many bags of money as possible across the field, each bag worth thousands. "Release the bulls," Jimmy shouted. The gates opened, and chaos erupted. The massive beasts thundered toward Bubba, who dodged, ran, and grabbed bags of cash. His hat flew off, dirt sprayed in every direction, and the crowd screamed. Somehow, he managed to stay on his feet, securing tens of thousands of dollars while 3 enraged bulls charged behind him. At the end of 3 heart-pounding minutes, Bubba survived, earning $50,000 and proving that sometimes fear and adrenaline can outmatch raw animal power. "What are you going to spend it on?" Jimmy asked. "Probably a new truck," Bubba grinned. The next challenge brought something entirely different, a battle of brute size and balance. Nick, a man who had previously lost a race against the fastest sprinter on Earth, returned for redemption. But instead of racing, he faced a terrifying choice: spend 1 minute in a ring with either a 500-pound professional sumo wrestler or a live grizzly bear. The tension was palpable. "You want to wrestle a sumo wrestler or a grizzly bear?" Jimmy asked as the bear stood on its hind legs, towering over everyone. Nick, panicking, shouted, "The sumo! The sumo!" The bear roared, and everyone laughed nervously. Nick was quickly suited up in traditional sumo gear and brought into the ring. "If you get pushed outside the red circle before the minute ends, you lose everything," Jimmy warned. The sumo wrestler, Rami, loomed over Nick, calm but intimidating. "Touch your fist to the ground to begin," Jimmy said. "Go." The bell rang, and within seconds, Nick was nearly flattened. The crowd laughed and cheered as Rami toyed with him like a cat playing with a mouse. "Fight back, Nick," Jimmy shouted. "Go for his belt." But Nick could barely breathe. "He's suffocating me," he gasped. Still, he held on. Seconds felt like hours as Rami pushed harder. 5 seconds left, Jimmy yelled. But just before time ran out, Nick stumbled over the line. He'd lost again, but Jimmy, feeling bad, handed him $10,000 for surviving. "You lost to the fastest man on Earth and now to the best sumo wrestler on Earth," Jimmy teased. After the intensity of physical combat, it was time to lighten things up. "Let's move on to something a little more creative," Jimmy said. Enter Trevor Wallace, a comedian ready to face off against an unusual artist, the world's best painting elephant. As Trevor removed his blindfold, he gasped. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? He joked. The massive creature, brush and trunk, was calm and ready to create. Both of you will have 10 minutes to paint whatever you want, Jimmy explained. Whichever one of you makes the better painting gets their artwork displayed in a real museum. The timer started, and chaos ensued. The elephant began with confident strokes, painting with surprising grace, while Trevor scrambled to mix colors. Less talking, more painting, Jimmy urged. Trevor laughed nervously. I feel like a firefighter with a hose, he shouted, splattering paint everywhere. The elephant, on the other hand, painted smoothly, pausing only to snack on treats between strokes. As time ticked away, Trevor panicked. These were supposed to be bricks, not windows, he groaned. The elephant calmly finished her signature move, a swirl at the end of every painting, just as the buzzer sounded. When the judge arrived, Trevor's painting received a score of 2 out of 10. It feels adolescent, the judge said carefully. Talk about the art, not the artist. Trevor joked. Then, the elephant's masterpiece was revealed, colorful, abstract, and surprisingly joyful. I see honesty and emotion in this, the judge said. 8 out of 10. Trevor sighed. You lost to an elephant, Jimmy said, laughing. Whatever, man, Trevor muttered as the elephant waved its trunk in celebration. True to his word, Jimmy had the elephant's painting framed and hung in a real museum for all to see. From lions to tigers, bulls to elephants, humans had pushed their limits in ways no one thought possible. But as the scorecard stood, humans ahead, but only barely, it was clear that nature had its own sense of pride. Each creature displayed not only strength but intelligence, grace, and character. Whether through raw power or quiet artistry, the message was clear. Humans may create challenges, but animals will always remind us of the incredible beauty and power of the natural world. And as the sun set on the final challenge, Jimmy summed it up best. Whether it's strength, speed, or creativity, man versus animal isn't about who wins. It's about celebrating how extraordinary both truly are. Before the final judgment of their artwork could be made, the anticipation built as everyone awaited what would come next. A professional art critic with over 30 years of experience was brought in to evaluate the paintings. On a scale of 1 to 10, Jimmy said, 1 being bad and 10 being good. The judge took a long look before deciding. 2, she said flatly. 2, Jimmy repeated in disbelief. It feels a little bit adolescent, the judge explained, like someone's getting in touch with their inner child. Trevor scoffed. Whoa, talk about the art, not the artist. Jimmy laughed and warned, hey, no influencing the judge. Then it was time to reveal the masterpiece of the world's best painting elephant. The crowd gasped as the vibrant piece came into view. Are we really going to grade this? Trevor said, eyeing the canvas. It looks like a clown threw up. But the judge smiled. She painted this on her own? I feel a lot of joy in this painting. She's being honest to who she is. You can't separate the art from the artist. When asked for her rating, she declared, I would give her an 8 out of 10. The room erupted in laughter and applause. Trevor, you lost to an elephant, Jimmy grinned. Whatever, man, Trevor muttered, while the elephant happily waved her trunk. Your competitor is literally hitting a Fortnite emote, Jimmy teased. How does that make you feel? Trevor sighed. All right, you win. Go back to Rainforest Cafe. As promised, Isla the elephant's painting was hung in a real art museum, admired by curious visitors unaware it was painted by an elephant. Moving on from art to adrenaline, Jimmy introduced the next challenge, the world's top soldiers versus one of the best search dogs on Earth. How long would it take you guys to kill me? Jimmy asked. 30 seconds, one soldier replied coldly. They're very scary men, Jimmy joked nervously. The challenge was simple. The soldiers had to hide in a massive junkyard while Odin, an elite search dog, hunted them down. How long do you think they'll last? Jimmy asked the dog's trainer. Probably about 5 minutes, came the reply. If any of you can evade the dogs until morning, you'll split $50,000. The soldiers sprinted off to hide. 3, 2, 1, go, Jimmy shouted. As they scattered, one soldier rubbed his scent on cars, another dunked himself in a muddy river to mask his smell, and one climbed 50 feet up a tree, the only tree in the yard, hoping height would save him. I just pray God hides my scent, he whispered. After 10 minutes, Jimmy gave the signal. Release the hounds. The dogs exploded into action. Odin's nose worked overtime, detecting faint traces of human odor across hundreds of vehicles. How can dogs smell this good? Jimmy asked in awe. It's their olfactory receptors, the handler explained. The longer the snout, the stronger the smell. One soldier in a car watched as the dog's nose pressed against his window. Then came the bark. Yo, they got me, he laughed. You're the first one found, Jimmy said. Don't worry, you still get a Lenovo Legion Pro 7i laptop powered by Intel Core Ultra 9. Sage, another search dog, soon found the second soldier. Step back, the handler ordered. Anyone inside? The door opened. You got me, the soldier admitted. You could have just opened the door, Jimmy laughed. 2 down, 3 to go. Meanwhile, another soldier hiding nearby prayed the dogs would be thrown off by the previous find. It worked, temporarily. The handlers noticed Sage barking at an empty van. False find, they said. Someone had planted a Red Bull can to mislead the dog. Their trap worked, Jimmy admitted. Hours passed as the sun began to rise. We can't find these people, Jimmy said, amazed. It's 5:30 in the morning, and we've still got people hidden. But moments before they ended the challenge, Sage began barking again. Is he in there? Someone's in the truck, a handler shouted. Got me, came a voice. Jimmy smiled. You might be a little hungry. Here, have a Feastables peanut butter cup. The soldier took a bite and laughed. That's a 10 right there. When time finally ran out, the 2 remaining winners emerged, exhausted but triumphant. Congrats on splitting $50,000. Jimmy cheered. But the night wasn't over. And now, Jimmy grinned. The moment you've all been waiting for. Car versus Cheetah. After all the insane man versus animal competitions, this was the grand finale. This Cheetah is going to race the fastest car on Earth, Jimmy announced. Let's see who wins. Oh, Cheetah. The sleek, spotted predator, named Millie, bolted across the field with astonishing speed. All right, I'll get it to come back, Jimmy laughed nervously. Millie, the fastest land animal alive, could reach speeds over 70 miles per hour. To even stand a chance, Jimmy brought 3 cars, starting with a golf cart. Ready, boys, he called. 3, 2, 1, send the Cheetah. The cat exploded forward, leaving a cloud of dust. Oh my God, it's so fast, Jimmy shouted. It's crushing us. I can't even see it anymore. The golf cart sputtered hopelessly as Millie crossed the finish line long before they were halfway there. This is embarrassing, Jimmy admitted. Cheetah, you didn't even give us a fighting chance. We need something faster. Bring out the next car. Next up was a minivan. Minivan versus Cheetah, Jimmy declared. Go. The tires screeched, but the Cheetah was gone instantly. Drive, Jimmy, someone yelled. I have literally gas all the way to the floor. Jimmy cried. This thing doesn't accelerate. Millie was already waiting smugly by the finish line. It felt sorry for us, one laughed. Yeah, Jimmy agreed, shaking his head. We're embarrassing ourselves. Before the final race, they gave Millie a rest to prevent overheating. During the break, Jimmy and the crew met her up close. I can't believe we're just standing next to a cheetah, he whispered. Come here, Millie. The cheetah approached calmly, purring loudly. It's so big, Nolan said. Nolan, stop touching it. It didn't like that. Jimmy laughed. You guys are crazy. The cheetah purred like a giant house cat. We partnered with the American Humane Society, Jimmy explained, to make sure all the animals are treated ethically. There are fewer than 8,000 cheetahs left in the wild, so it's important we protect them. Millie seemed relaxed and affectionate, even nuzzling one of the crew members. It's so soft, Jimmy said, smiling. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. Cheetah versus Formula E car. Jimmy shouted. The sleek electric race car revved at the starting line beside Millie. 3, 2, 1, go. The car launched forward with blistering acceleration, while the cheetah burst out like lightning beside it. That was so fast, Jimmy yelled. The car edged ahead, crossing the finish line first, but only barely. Even though Millie didn't win, Jimmy said, it's incredible that a living creature can compete with a Formula E race car. As the dust settled, he grew more reflective. When the first car was made more than a century ago, there were over 100,000 cheetahs in the wild. Now there are fewer than 8,000 left. It's our responsibility to protect these incredible creatures from extinction, so they can continue inspiring us to push beyond our limits. Millie purred softly beside him, as if understanding. "She's the sweetest animal I've ever met," Jimmy said warmly. The crowd applauded as the cheetah lifted her head proudly under the sun, a living reminder of nature's unmatched beauty and power.